Okay. Here we go. Boom. There we go with that. Let's get the chat room going. Chatters, I can't see you. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Excuse me. Welcome in to the Rant. We do this every single day, round about this time, typically closer to noon. This week, we've had some interruptions. I appreciate you indulging me and allowing me to do other things because, quite frankly, this is my love. I do this for the love of the game, right? That's the clause we give to our superstar athletes when they want to be able to play pickup games in, school parking lots and stuff like that. And then if they get hurt, they still get their money from the NBA team because they've got a love of the game clause. Well, that's what this is for me. Love of the game. Talk radio, the way I believe it should be done. Talk radio used to be a thing in this country. Now it's just down to two formats, sports and political talk. And I don't like to do exclusively either one of those. Oh, I'll dabble in both, but I don't want to be penned in. So therefore, someone like me who started doing talk radio in 1992, Groundhog's Day, 1992. There's really no place. There's no place because I don't carry water for any political party. I don't like any politician. I'm not going to say anything good about any of these people. And although I love sports and could probably be the country's great, Stephen A. Smith, I could do that. But again, doing sports seems way too limitless. So here's what we do here every day. 3 years ago, I had the idea. I said, I'm just going to do a talk show myself. I'm going to do the kind of talk show that I would want to listen to. Lifestyle talk, the kind of stuff that appeals to what I call the 70%, the 70% of us normal folks left here in America. There's 15% on the right who are nuts and 15% on the left who are nuts. They're gone. We can't save them. That's 30% of our friends and our colleagues that are just not coming back. We got to focus on the other 70% of us. We vote different ways. We see the world in different ways. We live in different parts of the country. But here's the thing. We believe in a civilized society. What do you think I was going to say? Democracy? I don't know what the democracy is. I don't know what democracy is. What is democracy? Democracy is entirely... Democracy depends on, people, humanity. And I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith in humanity. I have a whole lot of faith in us, the people who gather here every day for 3 years. We talk about stuff. The chat room is bustling. We love the chat room. Current events, that's our forte, current events. We do the show in 4 segments. 4 segments. And that's really just because the whole thing is a stream of consciousness performance. And if I don't have things that I'm trying to get to, it'd just be a mess. I start talking as the show begins the way I'm doing now, and I don't stop. We don't have commercial breaks. We don't check traffic. We don't do live reads, none of that stuff. I have no appearances that I need to do a commercial for. Nothing like that. We do it in 4 quarters. The first quarter, we call it Antecedently on This Day. What is that? That's me talking about events that have helped shape our understanding of this day. Antecedently on This Day. Quarter 2, birthdays, celebrities, historical figures, people born on this day. We talk about them, and really all we do here is we just go, this person was born today. Do we like them? Do we wish him a happy birthday? Or do we tell him to go kick rocks? That's quarter 2. Quarter 3 is deads, people who died on this day. Again, celebrities, historical figures, notable quotables, what have you. They died on this day. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? What we know about their lives. Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? That's what we do in quarter 3. We stand in judgment of our fellow man. The one thing the good Lord asked us not to do. Actually, I think there's a lot of shit the good Lord asked us not to do. Quarter 4 is the hot topic segment. Quarter 4 is like the bulk of the show. Most of the show is quarter 4. Most of the show is just everything that's happening today. The big news stories, the not so big news stories, the ones that got me interested. Stupid shit that I just started reading at like 8:45 this morning and went, okay, I've invested a half hour in reading this story. I guess we're talking about it. That happens sometimes. Sometimes we do stories that we're only doing them because I read the article. I'm not going to let that go to waste. But anyway, that's what this show is designed to do. Get you all prepped up on everything that you need to know about this day. Today. What is today? Say hi to the chat room. We got Chuckles Nelson hanging out with us today, ladies and gentlemen. We got Leslie C. Look at our girl. We got Adam. Hola, he says. Byron is here. Jeff is here. Taronda is here. Let me keep going. Who was first? I always like to see who's first. Taronda. We're going to give Taronda first in. Come on, everybody. I need to see who's in the chat room. So just come on by and say hello. We have the most well-behaved chat room on the planet. Probably because it's small. It's small and it's still manageable, which is nice. I'll have you know that it is Christmas season. Christmas season is absolutely upon us. How do I know this? Well, I was stopped at a long-ass stoplight. I never take Oak Lawn. I never take Preston to Oak Lawn. I never do when I'm coming in here to the Design District. Of course, we do these shows from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios at the E Gallery in the beautiful Dallas Design District. Usually I like to come through downtown, but today for some reason, not some reason, there was a specific reason I had to go to a store, but it's none of your business and I don't even know why we're talking about it. I took a different route and I went down Oak Lawn or Preston to Oak Lawn. And I know it's Christmas time because I was stopped there at the light at Preston and Armstrong. And this, of course, is Jerry Jones' corner. We all know that this is the corner. This is Jerry Jones's house right there on the corner. And I'll have you know that the owner of the Dallas Cowboys has his people putting up their Christmas lights today, right now. Oh, my God, the giant billionaire wall that surrounds the Jerry Jones compound right there at Preston and Armstrong. They're straping it with, they got the what do they call it? What is that? Garland? It's not garland. Poor people call it garland. What do rich people call it? Because it looked real. It looked like, he killed like a bunch of trees and now they're decorating the wall. And, that kind of thing. It's Christmas time is my point. I even think I saw Mrs. Jerry Jones. I'm not sure. It may have been Mrs. Jerry Jones. I don't know what Mrs. Jerry Jones looks like, but there was a Karen-esque, is how I'll describe her. There was a Karen-esque woman seeming to be directing all of the action from the Latino Christmas light decorator dudes. She seemed to be in charge. Now, here's the thing. I am not entirely sure what Mrs. Jerry Jones looks like. I think he keeps her hidden, right? She's bad for his brand because she's an old woman. See that? I don't know. Maybe she's got like a house captain. Is that a word? Is that a position, house captain? Oh, I want to be rich enough so I can invent the position of house captain. You're the house captain. What does that mean? I don't know. Give me a Coke. Give me a Coke cereal. We'll figure it out as we go. House captain. So maybe she's got like an assistant, but I thought that was Mrs. Jones. Anyway, it's Christmas season. La 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 la. Look at us. We got KB in the chat room. Now we've got Eric saying hi. We got CC in the Sports Bros saying hi. We got Barney in there. Now we got it. Now we got a chat room a man can be happy with. What else do I need to know? Saw a movie last night. Saw a movie that I have been waiting a year for. Had no idea it was available to watch. Man, let me tell you something. I went looking for the Christopher Reeve movie. The Christopher Reeve movie's out. Hey, Ed, if you're listening, the Christopher Reeve documentary. Oh, does that look so good? So I went to a place I go where I look for these things. And I was looking for the Christopher Reeve documentary. And I was bummed out. I was like, oh, man. Here's why. I got my kid this weekend, and I want my kid to know. My kid doesn't appreciate Superman. My kid thinks Superman's gay, and I'm a direct quote from him. Superman's gay. And look, this is a long-standing argument between my now 15-year-old son and me. It goes back to like 6 years old. He was always, Batman and Iron Man and all this. And I'm like, dude, Superman. Like, you don't know Superman because there's never been a good Superman movie for his generation. I tried to make him watch the Christopher Reeve stuff, but it, compared to the Avengers, it's not. It's not. Even Richard Pryor. My 10-year-old failed to have an appreciation for Richard Pryor in Superman 3. I was very upset by that. Man of Steel. He won't even watch Man of Steel with me. And I think that is objectively a good superhero movie. Anyway, they got to remake it. They got to make them darker. They got to make them meaner. So I don't know. What are we talking? What are we talking about here? We're talking about Superman, Batman. This is what happens with a stream of consciousness. You just go with your next thought, and then you forget where you came from. It's like you're in the forest, and you turn around, and you're like, where the hell did I start out at? Anyway, Superman, Batman. Why are we talking about that? I don't know. Moving on. That's what a stream of consciousness is. Yeah, D. Vega points out, the one thing we do know about Mrs. Jerry Jones is that she picks the artwork out in the AT&T Stadium. And apparently, let's just go ahead and say it. It's her fault they won't close the curtains. Let's just say that. Jerry Jones, Ted Cruz. That's what we do in Texas now. We blame our women. When men get in a corner, we blame our women. And our women take it because that's a good Texas woman. Shut up and take the blame. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know if she has anything to do with the curtains not being closed at AT&T Stadium. I just believe it's probably true. Anyway, I watched a movie last night. That's what I was talking about. I watched a movie last night that I've been waiting a very long time to see. And I'm going to give you a review of it at the end of the show. I went to see I was hoping to find the Superman movie. I couldn't find the Superman movie. Instead, I found this. I found this movie. And man, I got to tell you, I prefer it to the Superman movie. Like if you had said to me before I went looking for the Superman movie, would you rather see the Superman movie or would you rather see this? I would immediately say this. But I didn't know it was an option. I didn't even know it was released in theaters yet. Seriously, I didn't know it was out in theaters yet. Apparently, it debuted on like pay-per-view or home video Tuesday or something. So anyway, I'll have a review of that movie. What movie? Saturday Night. That's right. The origin story of Saturday Night Live. The Jason Reitman film. Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's kid. Jason Reitman's such a good filmmaker. Jason Reitman, tackled the story of the first night of Saturday Night Live and what it was like. And the movie is an hour and a half. And the whole movie takes place in real time, and it depicts what the 90 minutes before, live from New York. It's like that's the last thing. The last thing before the credits is the very first Chevy Chase, live from New York. Like that's how the movie ends. So it's a real-time look at what happens 90 minutes before Saturday Night Live hits the air, and specifically what happened on the very first night. So, for me, I'm all in. For me, it's like, that's interesting. That's okay. That's something I'm interested in. So I watched that. I'll give you a review of Jason Reitman's Saturday Night at the end of today's show. Jeff Ballard, he hears stuff. Jeff Ballard talks to people, and he's heard that it was good, but not even close to being accurate. Well, we'll find out. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. And I will say this. Nick DiGiulio, who on RadioMisfits.com does a really good Saturday Night Live podcast. It's a deep dive on the history of Saturday Night Live. He's like the only other person that I think knows more about Saturday Night Live than me. Remember, one of my great party tricks is that I have seen every single episode of Saturday Night Live ever produced. Ever. Seen every single one of them. The one thing in my life, the real common thread, can't even say this about football because football is just a season. Although I guess Saturday Night Live is also a season. But I've seen every Saturday night. Every Saturday night. Not that I've seen it live. I mean, don't forget, I was in high school and I like to go to parties and stuff. But there were VCRs. Then there were DVRs. Now it's Hulu on digital on demand next day. I have seen every episode. I've read books. Oh my God, Saturday Night Live: A Backstage History is one of my favorite books of all time. I read it like 30 years ago. I've been desperately looking for like some kind of an update on it. So let me tell you, I have some thoughts. I have some things that I know about the, first show, and so we'll talk about that. Okay. All right, Jeff heard it was good. Jeff's hearing things. You're going to hear whether or not I think it's good at the end of today's show. All right. What do we need to? Well, we haven't been doing. Pugs hasn't really been pitching for tips and all that kind of stuff lately. I haven't. We've taken a few days off, but we do need to bring that back. This show runs on your gratuities every day, Monday through Friday. We offer a kind of talk radio that regular radio doesn't offer. That is, of course, non-political, non-sports talk radio, lifestyle talk radio, regular talk radio for normal people. You want to support this kind of thing as you've done so generously over the past 3 years, I would encourage you to drop a little something there, the Venmo or the Cash App. That's how it's done. I shake my little cup, and you people, if you like what you're getting, you drop a little something and we move on. Maybe we do it for another day. Okay, so thank you. Also, big tipper of the day, we're bringing back now executive producer. Person who tips the most on today's show will then be tomorrow's executive producer. Unless nobody tips, then I might just reward somebody for being a good person. I don't know. Lady Gaga to join cast of Wednesday for season 2. Not even remotely interested in that. There you go. It's breaking news. Lady Gaga. They're all actresses now. Or no, I guess there's no such thing as actresses, right? There's actors. Can we bring actresses back? What was that? We can't have it. They're just female actors. What would No, they're actresses. They're actors and they're actresses. Why is that so wrong? Why did we have to stop doing that? Because it's patronizing. No, it's not. It's not patronizing. It's just words. And here's the thing. You want to change that? That's fine. You change it. You go ahead. You change it. And over time, it'll become the norm the way you want to do it. But here's what you got to not do. You got to not, when someone like me refers to a female who is a thespian as an actress, you got to not go, there's no such thing as actresses anymore. They're just actors. I'm tired of you and your pitch. You got to not do that anymore. You got to not do that. You got to just let me be wrong. You got to say nothing about it because, see, fuck you. There you go. There you go. Not being mean. I'm not trying to marginalize, subjugate, patronize, none of that stuff. There's no misogyny here. I was just raised in the 70s and 80s when we had actresses. And Pluto was a planet. All right, let's get started with today's show. It is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, for the 14th day of November, year of our Lord, 2024. It's the 319th day of the year. 47 days remain until the end of the year, so get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right, folks, let's get into quarter one. We call this Antecedently on This Day. You might just call it This Day in History, or if you must, previously on November the 14th. Antecedently, in the year 332 BC, Alexander the Great is crowned Pharaoh of Egypt. Pharaoh. Alexander the Great was cool. Why do I mention Alexander the Great? Because you ever do the birthday game? It was like, that gets stupid. Look, of course, they've never done the birthday game. This is a stupid thing that you invent only because you found out that Alexander the Great was born on your birthday. So the birthday game is when you challenge somebody to find the most significant person born on their birthday. And, they'll always be like, Betty Davis was born on my day. And I'm like, Alexander the Great, motherfucker. Landed on the moon, motherfucker. That's right. I know I'm not supposed to swear. I just said, Alexander the Great shares a birthday with me. Maybe. That's the thing with Al. You never know exactly. His birthday's either July 20th or the 21st. Nobody's sure. But July 20th, Alexander the Great, on this day, crowned Pharaoh of Egypt, born, I don't know when, on my birthday. Antecedently on this day, in the year 1889, pioneering female journalist Nellie Bly begins a successful attempt to travel around the world in less than 80 days. In fact, Nellie Bly travels around the world in 72 days. Hey! 72 days. The record was 80 around the world in 80 days. Look at her. She set a world record. What's that? Jules Verne. That was fiction. So she broke a fictional record. Okay. All right. Never mind. She broke a fictional record. Nellie Bly went around the world in a balloon in 72 days. Antecedently, on this day in 1957, let's get into this. You know things I love. I love space. I love hot chicks from the 80s. I love gangsters. I love me some gangsters. This was a big day in gangster history, American gangster history this day. Woo! You know what happened on this day in 1957? Antecedently in 1957, the Appalachian Meeting took place. Appalachian, New York. Upstate New York, Appalachian. Joe the Barber, who was Barbieri. Joe the Barber had a farm. He was a big mafioso dude. Joe the Barber. Where was Joe the Barber from? Philly? What was he? I don't know. Big mafioso dude, Joe the Barber. He owned this big spread up there in Appalachian. And man, oh man, the 5 families in New York were on the verge of all-out war. You got Albert Anastasia, who was like one of the most powerful dudes. You get him getting taken out by Gigante. Vinny the Chin Gigante takes out Albert. You can't just take out a boss, okay? So all hell's breaking loose with the 5 families, and that's when Joey the Barber, he goes, why don't y'all come out to my farm? Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. This is long overdue, gentlemen. I got a great idea. Like, worst idea ever, but okay. Got a great idea. So I got this 57-acre farm out in the middle of, rural upstate New York. We all need to sit down. So here's what we're going to do. We're gonna get the Buffalinos in here. We're gonna get Sonny Salvatore in here. We're gonna get the Trafficantes in here. We're gonna get somebody from all the 5 families. We're gonna get Joe DiStefano in here. We'll get the outfit from Chicago in here, and their seat in Los Angeles. We'll get them in here. We'll all get together. It'll be a gigantic syndicate cookout. What could go wrong? So all the major crime bosses from all the different crime families in America came together on this day in Appalachian in upstate New York. Why is this a problem? Because it proved conspiracy. It proved that there was a national organized crime syndicate. Now, you might wonder, this is a little rural town in upstate New York. How did this? Here's how it happened. One of these idiots needs to go into town probably for some smokes or something. So they get in their fancy out-of-state New York City car, limousine, black, whatever. They get out, they go into town, and a local cop goes, Jesus, that's a gangster. Because they carried themselves like gangsters. Like, hey, like that, black limousine, whatever. That's a gangster. So that cop writes the plates down, right? Then he sees another car. He's like, Jesus, that's a gangster. So it was just local cops who noticed all of these like new people in town, over 100 gangsters from around the country descend on this small town. And, sheriff called the FBI, and the FBI went, holy shit. So they raided it. And it's been depicted in a lot of different films. Godfather 3, I think there's a depiction of an Appalachian type situation where you got these old men in expensive suits running through snow-covered forest. The Sopranos famously did their little thing, their little spin on the Appalachian raid when Tony was with Johnny Sack at Johnny Sack's house, and they raided Johnny Sack's place in New Jersey, and Tony had to run through the snow in his stocking feet. Anyway, Appalachian, it is one of the most fascinating and most ill-advised situations and stories in the history of the American mafia. It proved to at least the federal government, who had no proof of it before, that there was in fact a national organized crime syndicate. Is there something wrong with the sound? Nina says that, oh my God, my phone is effing up. And then William Thomas says, y'all effing with me or something, can't hear a goddamn thing. Is there a problem with the sound? Anybody in the chat room want to help me out with this? Because you know how I get. I get all tizzied out. All right, thank you, Chaz. There's my guy, Chaz. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, continuing on with antecedently on this day. Antecedently on this day, 1970, Southern Airlines Southern Airways Flight 932 crashes in the mountains near Huntington, West Virginia, killing 75. This is the Marshall football team crash. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about a number of these. We had the San Diego State, and there was I think there was another Boise State or something. And the reason I've mentioned all of these is because the only one we care about is Marshall, because they made a movie. You got to make a movie about it for us to care. That's just American facts. But yeah, Marshall. We Are Marshall, right? Wasn't that the movie? We Are Marshall. I think I saw it. I think I saw it high. I think it's another movie that I saw when I was high, and I don't remember We Are Marshall. Maybe I'll rewatch it. Maybe me and my son tomorrow. That was on this day in 1970. Marshall University football team killing 75 people. Southern Airways Flight 932. Antecedently on this day in 2012, Israel launches a major military operation in the Gaza Strip in response to an escalation in terror and rocket attacks by Hamas. Oh, that's history. No, that's not history. That was 2012. You want to go to 1972? We can go all the way back to that. You want to go to 42? Because I'm sure we can find a very similar story to Israel going at it with Hamas. All right, that's going to do it, folks. That's antecedently on this day. Now let's talk about birthdays. People celebrating birthdays today. Again, the only rules here are they cool? Do we wish them a happy birthday, or do we tell them to go kick rocks? Born on this day in 1916, Sherwood Schwartz, ladies and gentlemen, Sherwood Schwartz. Pugs, that's a stupid name. Who the hell is Sherwood? Well, let me tell you. If you're like me, if you're Gen X, if you grew up watching TV in the 1970s, Sherwood Schwartz was like the guy. Gilligan's Island, huh? Brady Bunch? Okay, that's basically it. But those two were huge. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say it. Happy birthday, Sherwood Schwartz. Born on this day in 1916. Born on this day in 1927, McLean Stevenson. McLean Stevenson is the cautionary tale that a lot of people in Hollywood get told, especially people who get big on TV. I'm trying to think of people who got big on TV and then made the jump to movies, right? That's there's always, especially back then, we're talking about McLean Stevenson here, born on this day in 1927. So he's early 1970s, 60s, 70s. This is when he was in his prime, his most bankable. McLean Stevenson was the star of MASH. Now, I know when we think about MASH, we probably don't think about McLean Stevenson, but we're talking about the first couple of seasons of MASH when MASH was a phenomenon. It stayed a very important American TV show, but MASH was a big hit right out of the box, and McLean Stevenson, not Alan Alda, was the breakout star. McLean Stevenson, after a couple of seasons of MASH, decided he doesn't need this tiny little screen stuff. He wants to go off and be Jimmy Stewart, so he walks away from what at the time was, I think, the wealthiest or richest deal in all of television. And McLean Stevenson said, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go be a movie star. And McLean Stevenson went off and, of course, did nothing. Rued the day that he walked away from MASH. About 5 years later, after having absolutely zero luck in film, he ended up coming back to TV with a series called Hello, Larry. Hello, Larry. I used to like the theme. That was the theme. Hello, Larry. Portland is a long way from LA. Hello, Larry. It's a long way. That's the song. Probably not in that pitch, but something like that. Born on this day, 1927, McLean Stevenson. Born on this day in 1948, happy birthday to you, King Charles. King Charles' birthday. Can we get it right? King Charles III. That's right, King Charles III. Actually, let's get it really right. Here's his name. His real name is King Charles Philip Arthur George. That's it. That's the real name. King Charles III Philip Arthur George. I don't know how to say it properly. I don't know. Prince of Wales. You got to get that in there. You got to get King. Wait, he's not Prince of Wales anymore. He's king now. Whatever. It's his birthday. Frock that guy. I guess somebody's got to be born the future king, right? But it's like, And I guess there's probably like, 100 people on this planet who were born, maybe more. I don't know how many monarchies there are left, but there's probably like 100 or so dudes who are like walking around going, I was born a prince. But there's only one England. Like, that's the most important one. Like, I'm the king of Timu. And I'm like, where's Timu? I don't even care where Timu is. All right, moving on. King Charles III, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1948. Born on this day in 1964. The most awesomest, Patrick Warburton. Putty. I love Patrick Warburton. Patrick Warburton, man. Back in the day when we used to do the Pugs and Kelly show in Chicago and in Dallas here, Patrick Warburton was a regular on both shows. He was Putty, Putty from Seinfeld. We first got into him when he was just Putty, but then he took off and he did a bunch of other things, and people really like him because what's not to like about Patrick Warburton? We created this game, this like weekly segment where we would give away the Patrick Warburton. No, I think it was monthly because, yes, it was. No, we were going to do it weekly, but then Patrick Warburton said, I'll come on every time you give this award away. We created the Patrick Warburton Manliest Man Award just for somebody in the news that did something that was hyper masculine. And it didn't just happen to be a man. Sometimes it was women. It was oftentimes women. But anyway, he loved it. And he's like, I want to come on. So he would come on once a month. We were doing it weekly, but then we stopped it to monthly because he wanted to come on, but not so much that he wanted to come on weekly. So had a corned beef sandwich with him at the Grammys. He's a nice guy. I love Patrick Warburton. See, it's another one of these guys that, like, when you got a radio show and when you got like a whole bunch of listeners and all that kind of stuff, it's like these are the kind of friends you have. I haven't talked to that guy in 20 years. Buddy. He was my boy. What happened to us, buddy? I lost everything. All right, let's keep going. Born on this day, 1964, the great Patrick Warburton, Putty. Born on this day in 1967, another one of that. Them dudes. I talk about them dudes a lot. I put her in. She's one of them broads, them dames. This chick's a baller. This chick's badass. She's always been badass. I can tell stories about this chick going all the way back to when she was like probably 22, 23 years old. We would walk into a party and all of us nerd dudes were like, eh. Happy birthday. The incredibly cool, one of the coolest chicks ever, Nina Gordon. Nina Gordon is a rock star. Well, I don't even know if you don't have to acknowledge her as a rock star. I do. And here's the thing. She acknowledges herself as a rock star. Just got that vibe, man. She's just got that 90s aging, riot girl. Although, no, she was Veruca Salt. She was, they know not. Veruca Salt, that's a Seattle thing. Veruca Salt and Liz Phair and the RC and the other badass women that came out of that Chicago scene, they don't consider themselves riot girls. So, but whatever. Nina Gordon was in Veruca Salt with Louise Post. I always had a crush on Louise Post. I knew Louise Post better than I knew Nina Gordon, but there was this like really cool period of time in Chicago in like the early 90s, the mid 90s. I had just started. Prior to this, I had worked in the music side of Chicago, managing bands, and talked a little bit about that. Our buddy Rob Barr, who hangs out in the chat room, was a guy that, we all worked together. But after that, I ended up going into radio, and I started working on a very popular morning radio show. And that just like kind of, suddenly I was in rooms that when I was managing bands and trying to get booked into like hot clubs and stuff, rooms I wasn't allowed into. But suddenly I'm the producer for the Kevin Matthews Show, and I'm in rooms with people, that's just, and it was a heady time. I'm getting older now, and you start thinking about, was I a fly on the, and I was a fly on the wall for a lot of different kinds of things, but I'll never, it's not important. It's not an important time. It's not like Seattle grunge. It was a smaller Wicker Park, Chicago, mid-90s kind of scene. And there were bands that broke, Pumpkins, Liz Phair. It was a big scene. There were record companies setting up shop. But you would be, like, let's say you were at a place like the Empty Bottle. And let's say there was a cool band that came through town and they would close up bar afterwards, and that cool band would hang out with all the local luminaries and all that. That's how it goes. I mean, I remember at these parties, I remember watching girls like, specifically Nina Gordon, our birthday girl today, and Louise Post of Veruca Salt. This is 93. Just be hardcore bitches and just own the room. Not mean, not cruel, not mean girls, but you didn't walk up to them, and they were sexy. They were sexy in their confidence. They were sexy in their strut. You didn't walk up and grab their ass or anything. And then you had like Liz Fair, who was on a different, she was like the queen, and she wasn't even big nationally yet. She was just, it was cool. You know what? The Chicago music scene was really cool with women. They had women. They respected the women. The women were big players in that scene. Anyway, Nina Gordon, she's very cool. I love her. Huge crush on Louise Post, though. I had such a huge crush on her. There may have even been, no shot at all, ever. But for some reason, yeah, so I'd really like to get you guys on the show. Kevin really likes you guys. Get you to come in for a Friday. Oh, we'd like that. You should do that. You need to talk. And oh, God, those were fun times. Nina Gordon, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1967. Born on this day in 1975. Travis Barker. He's a drummer, don't you know? He's got burns. He was in a plane crash. That's all I know, right? That's pretty much all I know. He's a Kardashian. Is that what he is? Is he a Kardashian? No idea. All right, that's going to do it for birthdays. Let's move on. Quarter 3, running through quick today. These are the people who've died. These are the people who've died. People who've passed away on this very day. Let's decide where'd they go. They go to heaven, they go to hell. Dead on this day in 1915, Booker T. Washington. Oh, of course. Booker T. Washington. I'm always, okay, so here, of course, in Dallas, we've got the art school, right? Booker T. Washington. So where all the big, Erykah Badu and who else went to Booker T. Washington? Erykah Badu and who's the chick? Who's Ravi Shankar's daughter? How is it that I remember Ravi Shankar's name, but I don't remember his daughter? Who's Ravi Shankar's daughter? She went to Booker T. Washington. You guys in the chat room tell me, because I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I keep wanting to say Natalie Imbruglia, but that ain't her. It's a name like that. Anyway, Booker T. Washington High School here in Dallas, School for the Arts. Fame! I'm gonna live forever. A lot of people come out of there, though. A lot of people come out of Booker T. Washington. Come on, chat room. Seriously? Nobody's piano girl. La, la, la. I got a pretty piano girl voice. What's her name? Dark hair. Swear to God, I'm going to end this show. If you know Nora Jones. There you go. Lee Ann Brady Miller gets the win. It's Nora Jones. Oh, no, wait a second. Hugh Jackman. No, Hugh Jackman didn't know. Hugh Jackman was asking a question. Lee Ann Brady was the first one who confidently said Nora Jones. She's the winner. Thank you, folks. Yeah, Booker T. Washington, that's what we know about. So what? And then we know Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions. So we're probably like, oh, obviously Booker T. Washington was an old Texas jazz man. No. Jesus. No. Booker T. Washington is like probably and should be considered this, although I don't know how much. I learned nothing about Booker T. Washington in school. But after Martin Luther King and maybe now Barack Obama, because he became president, Booker T. Washington is like really important as far as black dudes in this country go. Do you know that Booker T. Washington, here's what he's not most famous for, but one of the things to just explain to you who he was in his time. He was the first and only, for another 50 years after him, he was the first, and then for 50 years after him, the first and only black man ever to dine privately with the President of the United States in the White House on equal terms. Booker T. Washington, Theodore Roosevelt. Teddy liked Booker T. Teddy and Booker T were buddies. Teddy took so much shit for having a black man at dinner that there wasn't another black man in the White House for like 50 years. Booker T. Washington was an educator. He was the founder. I don't know if he's the founder, but I think he was like the first president of the Tuskegee. We talked about, historically black Tuskegee University. Booker T. Washington. He's going to heaven. He's a great American. Great, great American. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Who else? Born on this day in 2003. Look at this. Dead on this day. I'm sorry. Dead on this day in 2003. Look at this. I was just talking about Booker T. Washington Hospital or high school. Booker T. Washington High School. I was talking about here in Dallas. And I, made the joke, fame, I'm gonna live forever. Guess who died on this day in 2003? Gene Anthony Ray. Gene Anthony Ray. Gene Anthony Ray was Leroy in Fame, I'm gonna live forever. Leroy was like the only dude who was in the movie Fame. Fame was a big movie. I don't know if you guys know this. Fame was a big movie in like 79, 80. It was gritty. It was about kids in New York with talent. Oh, it took the world by storm. And then, of course, it was Hollywood. Nobody had original ideas, but everybody had ideas because it was cocaine. And so in Hollywood at that time, they were like, popular movie, turn it into a TV show. So then Fame, the TV show, that became a thing for like a long time. Fame, the TV show, ran for like 10 years. But Gene Anthony Ray, Leroy, he was like the only one that was like a star of the movie who then came to do the TV. I guess he had nothing going on. He died on this day in 2003 of AIDS. He lived hard. He partied hard. He wasn't really an actor per se. He was like a street dancer, and it all came very quick, and he died. I think he probably was a hell. I think he lived a very, crazy 1980s. I'm famous. I can buy cocaine. It's the 80s. Let's get nuts. Let's have unprotected sex, and I'm gay. And so there you have it. I think Gene Anthony Ray, Leroy, American actor, singer, dancer, and choreography, dead on this day in 2003. Dead on this day in 2014. Let's talk a little bit about this guy, because I got some thoughts on this dude. Dead on this day in 2014, Glenn A. Larson, ladies and gentlemen, creator of Battlestar Galactica. Glenn Larson created the original Battlestar Galactica. Oh, he created a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I love Battlestar Galactica. Not the Glenn Larson version. Glenn A. Larson, the man we're talking about today, he created the original Battlestar Galactica. And it sucked. It was dumb. But I liked it because I was 8. And I didn't know what I was looking at. And it was space. Couldn't go see Star Wars in a movie theater every single day or once a week. So I had Battlestar Galactica on my TV, and it was fine. They reimagined Battlestar Galactica like 30 years later for the Sci-Fi Network. A new guy came in and made it way better and so much cooler, darker. Anyway. Glenn A. Larson is still cool because he made that okay. He was like, yeah, you can redevelop my thing. What else did Glenn Larson do? Okay. Glenn Larson did, of course, Battlestar Galactica. After Battlestar Galactica, he's doing Battlestar Galactica, and he's like, oh, Jesus, this is an expensive show. It was an expensive show. Battlestar Galactica was an expensive show. And it was a syndicated show, which meant that they had to pick up the cost for that. So Glenn Larson had an idea. He was like, well, what if I pitch another show to a network? Because I've got this success in syndication. What if I go to, say, NBC and I pitch them on a show, and then I charge them for all of the, space stuff, but we actually use the space stuff we're already using in Battlestar Galactica. That was the idea he had. And that's how we got Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Remember that show with the robot? Beep, 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 beep. Whoa, Buck. That was on NBC. Glenn Larson produced that using all the same sets and all the same equipment from Battlestar Galactica, the one that he did with Lauren Green. Fun fact. Battlestar Galactica, he did Buck Rogers. He did The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo. Come on! Short-lived, but awesome. Sheriff Lobo. That show was great. He also did Quincy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, Quincy was fine. He was Oscar Madison from The Odd Kids. Quincy was fine. Seemed not exactly in my wheelhouse at 10 years old. You know, and what was Quincy? Quincy's like a coroner, but also like a Lothario who lives on a boat and like has dates like much younger women. Quincy was cool, man. Let's do a podcast on what these characters were getting into. There you go. I want to do a breakdown of what Quincy was really getting into, what his life was like. Because he also like took it upon himself to like, solve murders and shit, which I don't think is in the purview of a county coroner, but all right, so he did Quincy. All right, so let's run through them. Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers in the 25th Centuries, The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo, Quincy. He did the Hardy Boys. He did Nancy Drew. He did BJ and the Bear. Hey, away you're going, the streets are flowing, scooby-dooby-dooby-dee-da, bang! I'm BJ McKay, and this is my best friend, Bear. Come on! These dudes doing this guy made the dumbest, stupidest TV shows in the history of TV, and let me tell you, they were music to my 8-year-old ears and eyes. All right, so we got Battlestar Galactica, we got Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, we got The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo, we got Quincy, we got the Hardy Boys, we got Nancy Drew, we got BJ and the Bear, we got the Fall Guy, we got Magnum PI, we got Knight Rider. Dude, look at that run. Look at the run he went on. BJ and the Bear, Fall Guy, Magnum PI, Knight Rider. Suck a dick, motherfucker. Screw you, Norman Lear, with your socially relevant commentary. I'm Glenn Larson. Also, he created the Bionic Man, or $6 Million Man, but he didn't get credit for it. There you go. So guess what? We're putting Glenn Larson in heaven because he made a lot of TV shows that was awesome. Nina says Quincy was a doctor, of course. That's why he got younger women. Al says BJ and the Bear was one of my favorites next to Chico and the Man. Chico. Jeff says, thank you, Pugsley, for bringing BSG, the remake, into my life. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome, sir. Jeff enjoys the remake of Battlestar Galactica. I've got some good news for you. Got some really good news. HBO, or Max, as they say, Max, is apparently developing yet another Battlestar Galactica series, which will neither draw from the first 1970s Battlestar Galactica nor the mid-90s reimagined Battlestar Galactica. But this will be entirely new storyline, however, with the same characters. So it's going to be new actors playing the same characters, reinventing all of them again. How much fun will that be? All right, Glenn Larson, born on this day. Glenn Larson, we put him in heaven. Yeah, we did that. I like him because he made stupid TV shows that made my little 8-year-old ass happy. All right, folks, that's going to do it. Let's get into quarter four now, right? These are all the things that we need to be talking about that are relevant to this day. Hot topics, current events, whatever. I'm going to tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you why they're trending, why people are talking about them. I'll give you my 10 cents. We'll move on, okay? 10 cents, 2 cents. It's 2 cents, isn't it? Am I overpaying by 8? I think I might be. All right, let's go. Trump appointments. Yesterday's show was derailed right in the middle of it when the breaking news came across that Matt Gaetz was being floated as the attorney general from this new Trump administration. And it did something to me. All you need to do is go back and look at yesterday's show. I don't know. Everything was pretty much blank after that. I couldn't focus on anything else that we were talking about. I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then it dawned on me. It dawned on me last night on the ride home. This isn't real. He's not. Matt Gaetz is not going to be the attorney general of the United States. Okay? He's not. This is not real. Donald Trump doesn't want Matt Gaetz to be the attorney general of the United States. Okay? That's not it. Trump is a master negotiator. The attorney general slot is going to be the most contested of all of the appointments. Why do I know this? Because it always is. It's the attorney general. It's the keeper to the laws. It's the top enforcer of all of these things that we hold so near and dear, namely our laws and our Constitution. That's why it's a big gig. And that's why Matt Gaetz, that's why so many people are like, fucking what? Because it's absurd on every level to think that someone who has comported himself in the manner that Matt Gaetz is over the past 5 years of him being in the spotlight, to think that he could ever, in a serious country, be the top cop. Okay, so it's not real. This is just obviously, Trump loves to negotiate. This is what you do in a negotiation. You start high with no intention of getting that so that you can negotiate somewhere in the middle. This isn't the guy Trump wants for AG. This is the guy he's going to throw to him. Everybody's going to freak out, and then they're going to be like, you got to give us someone else. And he's like, all right, well, here, how about this guy? And then the second guy he offers is going to be the guy that he actually wants, and he'll be the compromise guy on the side of the opposition, and that's how he'll get who he wants. Also, as was explained to me last night, Matt Gaetz needs to get out of Congress because there is a bipartisan that won't change with the new administration. There is still that bipartisan investigation into his situation, right? And as long as he resigns from Congress, that goes away. They can no longer be investigating him because he is no longer a member of Congress. So, in effect, Donald Trump has provided him cover. He provided him a reason, honorable discharge, if you will. They provided him with a reason to step away from Congress while awaiting confirmation by the Senate. Matt Gaetz is not going to get confirmed by the Senate. Look at the new Senate president is John Thune. John Thune is on record as having said all kinds of things about Matt Gaetz and his situation legally over the past couple of years. So, but that's what it is. Trump is a master negotiator. You wanted a businessman? This is how a businessman wins. He gives you somebody who is such an absurd suggestion that you lose your shit and begin negotiating on the absurd suggestion when he wants you focused on the absurd, because his compromise candidate is who he really wants. And that's what I think Gaetz is. I also think that's what a lot of these people are. I think that's what the defense game is. I think that that's what the deal is with this Hegseth guys. Same thing. I think that they know that the Senate is in no way ever going to confirm this guy. So, you won't let me have him. You guys won't let me have anybody. I hate you. I hate you. And then whoever it is he suggests next, they'll go, okay, we'll take him. Because they already said no. They said no to the first guy. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And it's not politically unique. Apparently this has happened before. But man, oh man, was I freaking out. Again, mark my words, no way in hell, Matt Gaetz. He'll be withdrawn from consideration before they even get to the vote. But for right now, it provides a negotiating advantage for the Trump administration, and they're good at this stuff. That's what they do, man. This is what business is. This is what y'all voted for. Not me, again, because I didn't vote. Again, Jeff with the last 4 attorney generals. I'm like, Jeff, you're a moron if you put Matt Gaetz in league with the last 4 attorney generals. The last 4 attorney generals on paper, at least objectively, had the qualifications for the post they were filling. Matt Gaetz doesn't. Stop it. You may not like any of the last 4 attorney generals. Hell, I don't know if I do either, but why am I committing to memory the actions of an attorney general from 10 years ago? I don't know. But it's not the same thing. Well, but what about that? It's not the same thing, Jeff. It's not the same thing. It'd be like if you fucking wanted to put Pauly Shore as the attorney general, and Jeff's like, well, judging from the last 4, it's the same thing. Stop it. It's not. Thank you, Jeff. Please continue to say stupid shit for me to fucking lose my balls over. All right, how about Tulsi Gabbard? This is another one. I don't know about Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know if she's a rinky-dink or whatever, because she's got the added thing of being hot, and I think Trump wants to bang her. I think you see those bikini pictures of Tulsi Gabbard? Holy shit! Holy crap! pink bikini pictures of Tulsi Gabbard, who's being National Defense Intelligence. I don't know, whatever, something important. Holy crap, is she hot? Her body is just, I mean, her face is, look, she's hot. We should all be so lucky, all right? Tulsi Gabbard is a very attractive woman. Normal standards. Trump world, she's not that. Trump world, she's okay, but she's not like Trump world. They got like hot chicks, which is why I was so shocked when I saw Tulsi Gabbard in a pink bikini. I'm like, holy crap. Okay, so all that aside, you'll never get me to believe anything. Tulsi Gabbard was raised by a cult. There you go. I keep saying it, and people are like, yes, so what? So what? So were you. Yeah, I was. I was raised by a cult. I was absolutely raised by a cult. But I recognize it. That's how I recognize it. I was raised Catholic. Catholic is absolutely a cult. Absolutely. Catholicism is a cult. Anyway, she was raised in a real cult. And by that, I mean, what was it called? It was the Science of Identity movement. She was in the 1970s. There were all these like hippie kind of, based in yoga and smoking pot and communism. There were all these like different weird religions, and they popped up a lot in places like Hawaii and California. Anywhere it was nice, man. Anywhere you could just man. It was like that. She was raised in that. Like her whole family, like her mom and dad. I'm sorry. I don't care. Well, she's her own person now. No, she's not. She was brainwashed from the time she was a kid to believe in crazy. Gabbard's childhood in Hawaii included surfing, martial arts, and yoga. She learned spiritual principles such as karma from the ancient text of Bhagavad Gita. She was also raised with the teachings of the Science of Identity movement, a Vaishnav Hindu organization many consider a cult connected with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare. That's from those weirdos. Now you want to put her in charge of our intelligence or bombs or something? I don't know, man. But did you see her in that pink bikini? All right. I might be convinced. She walking around the Pentagon in that bikini. Anyway, Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, my three concerns are, of course, Tulsi Gabbard, Matt Gaetz, Fox News pretty boy. And whatever, but I don't care. We don't care. We're gonna have fun. We don't fucking 4 years. I don't care if it goes on for 8 years. I don't care if it goes on for 12 years. It's America. I got my flag. I love my country. As I said yesterday, and I'm not proud to say this. I said it yesterday. Everybody I care about is like, a protected class. So, I got a mom I care about. She's no woman. She's an old white woman. She's protected class. I got a son. He's 15. He's a 15-year-old Texan with a drawl. He plays football. He's a big old good old boy. He's gonna be protected. This world is shaping up great for him. Like, it's going. And whatever. What are you saying, Pugs? Are you saying that it's going to be? Well, what I'm saying is that there were some very real concerns raised by people with a skin color different than mine. Things that we should all be concerned about, prospects of another 4 years of this. And I was like, yeah, all right, you people are concerned. All right, very good. Very good, man. And then the guy won in a landslide. So, I'm like, whatever. Apparently, even the people who I was told are the ones who are in trouble. The people who are going to be put upon and, bust out of the country in the middle of the night. Those people, they elected him in a landslide. And you're seeing a lot of them. They're saying stuff now like, well, I don't think he's coming from my family. Okay, cool. it's very much one of those first they came for kind of situations, that we hear about. I think that stems from the Holocaust. First they came for the Jews and I said nothing. Yeah, that whole thing. All right. First they came for the illegals. And you guys voted. And then they came for maybe illegal, maybe not, maybe a paperwork problem. Who cares? Get rid of them. Which, fine. Again, fine. Whatever. Hey. I have been told, and the American people have voted, I've been told that the immigration and these people in our streets, I've been told that is the big number one concern. Okay? Now, being honest, wasn't my number one concern. Not for me. For me, that's not the big problem. For me, I'd have to say, what is my big problem? Well, I worry about my kid going to like concerts and malls and shit. That's a big problem. That's sort of an everyday, breathe easy kind of kitchen table issue. But no, we all went with the highly complicated and ongoing issue of the border being the big thing. And so now we're going to kick everybody out. And Trump is putting people in place to do exactly what he promised he was going to do. And so here we are. Let's roll. Let's go. I was born here. My son was born here. My grandma was born here. My mom was born here. We're good. Isn't that terrible? Way to be an ally. Well, what the fuck are we supposed to do, man? What the fuck? They're way outnumbered, apparently. Ship has sailed. Sometimes you just gotta, and this is not if you can't beat them, join them, because I'm a principled guy. My morals are entirely based on the actions of two people, my mother and my grandfather. That's it. That's my moral base. Basically, the way I saw those two adults, human beings, carry themselves, that's kind of where I've taken everything from. So when I say, can't beat them, join them, I don't think that'll affect my morals or my principles, but I mean, seriously, guys, what to my friends on the left who are still just endlessly bickering and complaining and liberal tears, I believe they're called. To my friends on the left, when is this going to end for you? when is this? The reason you're crying is because you were super irritating, and now it's over. The ship has sailed. It's done. You're not like the other side. You're not gonna go to the mall on Washington with a plan. You're not doing that. You're knitting pussy hats. That's what you people do. So there you go. I mean, I guess they're talking to 2 years to the midterms, and we take the House and we take the Senate. No, you don't. No. Not unless you radically change the way your platform hits the average American person, because the Democratic platform is garbage. Unelectable is what some might call it. All right. Poly market. You guys know about the poly market? There's a big news story today concerning the poly market. I love the poly market. The poly market is fun. It's crazy. I want to do a podcast exclusively about the poly market, but I think the poly market, or at least this version of whatever it is, might be going away. So what is the poly market? Poly market it's gambling. It's gambling. We're not as familiar here in Texas as other states are with all the things that are happening in the legalized gambling world. I came from Illinois, a state that has legalized gambling. And I was there for about 2 years of legalized gambling in Illinois. They've had it there for 5 years now, something. And I mean, it's everywhere. It's the money. It's a money machine. Everybody is making money hand over fist off legalized gambling, and we don't have it here in Texas, so we're not exposed to the kinds of things that you can gamble on with your phone. Here in Texas, we can't use the apps, but we know if you're in Texas, you watch a football game, you got to be asking yourself, why are there so many gambling sites all over? What is BetQL, right? What is MGM Bets? What is DraftKings? All of these things. So this is the rest of the country. The rest of the country that has freedom. Unlike the freest state in America, Texas, where you can't gamble, you can't smoke weed, and ladies can't get their abortions. But freedom is number one here in Texas. Freedom. Poly market allows you to gamble on shit that's not sports. Like Poly market was made a lot of news in the weeks leading up to the election. The Poly market was the one that was saying that Trump was going to win. The Poly market, the betting favorite was on Donald Trump in the Poly market. You can bet on all kinds of things. The guy who runs Poly market, 26-year-old billionaire kid, another one of these Bankman-Fried dudes. I don't know if he's been arrested, but the police, the feds, have broken into his house and seized all kinds of things. Let's learn about this, shall we? FBI seizes Poly Market CEO's phone electronics after betting platform predicts Trump win. I don't know if these two things, this is the New York Post. Poly Market became famous 2 weeks ago for being the outlier in predicting the massive Trump win. The gambling site that allows people to gamble on the outcome of the election was the only thing that predicted what we now know to have happened. So like I say, man, I always go with the gambling sites. Gamblers don't lose money like that, not the good ones. They know what they're doing. So 2 weeks ago, they came out and they said Trump's going to win. He's going to win big. And everybody went, that's just 3 billionaires flooding the market. Well, maybe it was, but it also turned out to be true. And now the guy who runs that place, he's getting, served with search warrants and stuff by the FBI. Are they related? I don't know. I just know that the only reason most people heard of Poly Market is because 2 weeks ago they made headlines because of that. The 26-year-old entrepreneur was roused from his bed in his Soho pad at 6 a.m. That's when they do it. They do it at 6 a.m. Did you know that? If you're ever worried about getting raided by the FBI for doing something shady, it's going to happen at 6 a.m. Because they know that's when they're going to catch you off guard. You're probably home. You're sleeping. It's not like they've gone for the day. They don't serve a search warrant at 11:30 in the morning. They don't. People are gone. A lot of times it's 6 a.m. on a Sunday. Yeah, that's right. Sundays. The 26-year-old entrepreneur was roused from his bed 6 a.m. by law enforcement personnel. It's grand political theater at its worst. The source. The attorney, this is the person who works for the dude. It's grand political theater at its worst, the source told the Post. They could have asked his lawyer for any of these things. Instead, they staged a so-called raid so they could leak it to the media and use it for obvious political reasons. All right, here, let's get a look at this guy. Here you go. Here's one of these 26-year-old billionaires who's now running afoul of the law. He's got, again, the thing with these 20-something billionaires, they all have the crazy hair. I don't care, man. I don't need to get a haircut. Mr. Popular. Hold on. My son is sending me a text in the middle of the day. All right, so that's him. Let's see. What else do we need to see from him? We'll stop sharing. Continuing on. Copeland is his name. Shane Copeland. Copeland was not provided with a reason for the raid, but the source suspects it was political retribution since Polymark predicted an easy Trump triumph over Vice President Kamala Harris as opposed to traditional polls. The source also speculated that the government is likely piggybacking off liberal media reports that accuse Polymarket of market manipulation and rigging its polls in favor of Trump. Okay. All right. This is fucking gonna drive me nuts. Look, they're probably doing something shady. Okay. It probably has nothing to do with Trump, but now this is becoming a thing where you can indemnify yourself by pledging fealty or publicly betrothing yourself to Trump or MAGA. You do that, and then when you get in trouble for some shit you're already doing, like tax fraud or something, you then get to say, I'm being persecuted because of my MAGA. People do this shit all the time. And that's what this guy's doing. It is a gambling website. It's probably shady to all get out. But no, it's because you put. Oh, stop it, man. This is why Matt Gaetz needs to come in and blow up the FBI, because they're activist FBI. So stop it, man. You're probably a shady fucking businessman. Excuse me, fracking. Probably a shady businessman. Every shady businessman now. It's because I'm MAGA. It's because I dare to speak for patriots. That's now the shitty I did something wrong in business and got caught excuse. Whatever. All right, there you go. Anyway, Polymarket. I like it. I don't know if it's going to go away. I hope it doesn't. Like, you can vote on things like, movies. You can vote on stupid shit. How close will that asteroid get? You can vote on like cool, fun things. I think I could vote on stuff. Or gamble on stuff like that. I think I could. I think I could be good at gambling on stuff like that. Why not? Somebody's got to be. And I got to be good at something. My God. They say everybody's born with a talent. At some point, mine has got to reveal itself. Melania is not moving into the White House. Say she's going to be the first lady since Bess Truman not to live at the White House. Bess Truman didn't live at the White House because they were renovating the White House. So she didn't live there. Melania, I don't know where she's going to stay. She's going to stay in Margo. She's going to stay in New York. Her son, if she was going to stay at Trump Tower in New York because her son is going to NYU, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. She's not going to the White House. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. Whatever. She's just there for the party invites and the cool photo ops. That's what she's there for now. All right, Melania, she's not moving in. People are losing their shit. Again, stop losing your shit over every little non-traditional thing that Trump administration 2.0 is going to do. They were very non-traditional the first time. They're more comfortable this time. They're going to be even more non-traditional. So just stop it. It's fine that Melania doesn't want to be at the White House. Not a big deal. Well, how are they going to fuck and have normal relations like a man and woman? They're not. They're not. He's a fat old man and she's a supermodel. They're not. That's not what this relationship was ever built on. For him, it was. But for her. Okay, so Melania is not moving into the White House. A lot of people upset by that. A lot of bitches are upset by that. UFOs are real. That's it. I said it. UFOs are real. Lost in the shuffle of Matt Gaetz and Tulsi Gabbard and Fox News Pretty Boy. Lost in the shuffle of that is that Congress is doing UFO hearings again. They got all the UFO people down there, and the UFO people are like, UFOs are real. And Congress is going, really? Is it really real? And then people like Nancy Mace, she's like super MAGA. She's in charge of, here's what I like about MAGA, because I'm a big UFO guy. Love me some UFOs. UFO stuff is real. I'm fascinated by it. I love it. I'm always into it. Nancy Mace is MAGA, okay? I like MAGA handling the UFO shit. I do, because they're going to fuck around. They don't care. They don't. Look, whatever the reason is that more, seasoned minds over the years have determined that we, the rank and file peasants, don't need to know about extraterrestrial life. Whatever the reasons are, and they're keeping it from us, whatever those reasons are, fuck them. Like I said, there's no rules anymore. Nancy Mace and MAGA, they're going to fuck around and they're going to show us an alien body. They're going to give us what we need to know. I should say they're going to give us what we want to know, because we don't need to know that. Oh, that's going to cause all kinds of problems. All right, let's see here. What is the story with the UFOs? Let me give you a quick rundown on what's happening. This comes from the Wall Street Journal. Former Pentagon officials on UFOs. We are not alone. Ex-government and military officials testify in latest congressional hearings on mysterious phenomena which has long fascinated the public at large. UFOs are real, and Americans deserve to know the truth, former government and military officials told a congressional panel on Wednesday. Okay, whatever. There you go. They're real. We should not turn a blind eye, but boldly face this new reality and learn from it. Yeah, we should, but that ain't going to happen. People can't handle that. People cannot handle that. You people cannot handle it. I can. I think I got alien DNA. Maybe that's why I have no earthly talents. Maybe I'm really good at something that, like, requires a different type of gravity. I don't know. You people can't handle it. You religious people. Oh, I want to hear that. I want to hear that. How's that going to happen? Okay, so aliens are real. They're here and they're better than us. Oh yeah, that's the back end of the story. 1, they're real. 2, we're their bitches because they're far more advanced than we are. You know how we can surmise this? Because we can't even, as I like to point out, we can't even get off a launch pad 10 out of 10 times. We haven't been to our own closest satellite, the moon, since like 1972. We can't do dick, but since like the pyramid times, they've been flying around in our orbit watching us. Oh yeah, they're way more advanced than us. So if you're a pussy and that kind of thing scares you, get your knees knocking, sweet cheeks, because it only gets worse. It's by the grace of their own benevolence that they have not completely vaporized us or turned us into, I don't know, salt miners. I don't know what they would need us for. We're like ants. That's what we are. That's what I believe. But they're not going to tell us that. They can't tell us that, because what happens when they tell us that? What happens to, I don't know, let's just say Christians. So who's Jesus? Where does Jesus, and more importantly, where does his dad God fit into all of this stuff? God made us in his image, right? So who are these aliens? Who made them? Whose image are they made in? And if they're better than us, and God made us in his image, is their God better? Who's their God? Becomes the question. And have we as humans, have we aligned ourselves with the wrong God? Those are all the kinds of things that people have to question. Should it be revealed that we're not alone in this universe? Now, it would be easy if they came down and they're like, yeah, the whole God thing, that's been us the whole time. That would be good. I would like for them to say that. Yeah, you guys, you praying all this stuff. That's us. Yeah, that's us. The guy you called Jesus, yeah, that's Benny. And Benny, he was an astronaut like 2,000 years ago. We sent him down here. He got stranded. You guys were like, really dicks to him. But then I guess you really like him. So if the aliens wanted to divulge that, maybe now we got something, because then now they're not aliens. Now they're angels. It's all about framing. The angels, they're angels. They're not aliens. Angels are real. Aliens are not. Angels. Anyway, UFOs are real, and they're talking about it at the highest levels of what I've been told is our very serious government. I've been told this. All right. Here's my favorite story of the day. This is the first story I woke up to. I woke up to this story and I went, that's a way to start the day. Now that's how it's done, America. Sometimes the fun people get a Vic. The Onion has purchased InfoWars. That's so awesome. So Alex Jones, he's a piece of shit. Hey, I told you the stories about Alex Jones. Alex Jones used to try and work at 105.3. Like back in the early 2000s. I think he was he on LBJ down in Austin or something? But he's a Dallas kid, born and raised in Dallas. And he really wanted to come work at 105.3, man. And he used to send all of this shit. Like, hey, man, hire me. Like all of these real crazy, stunty promotional stuff. And we used to sit in the program director's office. Kelly was really fascinated by it all. Kelly would go through the big box of out-of-work DJs. And Alex Jones was anyway. He was always one that... And I remembered him because he eventually, would have success online, and he revolutionized. He did all this stuff, and he's a fucking crazy person. Crazy person who desperately wanted to work at 105.3, but we didn't think he was good enough because he wasn't. So Alec Jones started InfoWars, and it became a big thing. Gay frogs, and, Sandy Hook isn't real, and, over the course of about 10 years, that kind of shit came back and bit him in the ass. And after a number of court judgments against him, InfoWars is no longer his. He's like $1 billion in debt, right? Something crazy like that, in judgments that he needs to pay the families of children killed at Sandy Hook. So one of the things that they were going to do is, you got to liquidate and then you got to auction off his assets. And one of the most lucrative assets that he has is this crazy ass platform called InfoWars. A lot of people were lining up to try and buy InfoWars. One was Roger Stone. And Roger Stone is another one of these crazy people. There were allies of Alex Jones who were lining up and putting money together to be able to purchase InfoWars from auction. They didn't get there. You know who got there? The Onion! So funny. The Onion is so cool. I don't know what the Onion's going to do with it, but I don't know, man. It's just so funny. Here's the story. All right. The Onion buys InfoWars. What did they get it for? Let's go through this. This is, who's the source here? This is the AP satire publication. The Onion buys Alex Jones InfoWars at auction with Sandy Hook family's backing. What was the first Onion headline? The first Onion, like I go way back with the Onion because the Onion started, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It might just be like a website you see on Twitter or something, but the Onion started in the 1980s at the University of Madison, University of Wisconsin-Madison. It was like a student paper. It's a parody of the University of Wisconsin at Madison student paper, which is called The Union. Get it? The Union. And then so they created it, and I want to say like 85, 86, somewhere in there. Some students created this almost like the Harvard Lampoon, except they called it The Onion. One of the first places that The Onion came to was Chicago, because obviously the University of Wisconsin is just a short car ride from Chicago. A lot of people there. So we became, in Chicago, the first outpost that had distribution of The Onion. And this is back in the day where you could walk down the street and there would be people selling you copies of, hard copies of The Onion. Also, I was working on a radio show in Chicago. And some of the early writers for The Onion, they were always submitting content. And I would always sell it as, these are the guys from that newspaper at UW, at University of Wisconsin. And we never used any of that stuff. But, I mean, you could tell, it's just kind of cool to see how much of an institution now, 30 years later, The Onion has become. And to now have them, I mean, this is their greatest prank. Their greatest prank is buying Alex Jones's InfoWars. The first headline of The Onion, I think, was something like changes in sun's rotation. Changes in sun's rotation plunges Earth into darkness. I don't know, whatever it was funny, but it was like, I can't even phrase it right. Anyway, back to the story. The satirical news publication, The Onion, won the bidding war for Alex Jones's InfoWars at a bankruptcy auction backed by families of Sandy Hook Elementary shooting victims. That's awesome. The Onion had the actual families on their side. I love it. That's so funny. The purchase turns over Jones' company, which for decades has peddled in conspiracy and misinformation, to a humor website that plans to relaunch the InfoWars platform in January as a parody. Within hours of the sales announcement Thursday, InfoWars' website was down and Jones was broadcasting from what he said was a new studio location. The dissolution of Alex Jones' assets and the death of InfoWars is the justice we have long waited for and fought for. Robbie Parker, whose daughter Emily was killed in the 22 shootings in Connecticut. The Onion acquired the conspiracy theory platform's website, social media accounts, studios in Austin, Texas, trademarks, and video archive for an undisclosed sales price. The satirical outlet, which carries the banner of America's finest news source on its masthead, was founded in the 1980s and for decades has skewered politics and pop culture, including making Jones a frequent target of mocking articles. Mass shootings in the U.S., such as Sandy Hook, are often followed by The Onion publishing nightly updated versions of one of its most well-known recurring pieces. No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens. That's their mass shooting headline. No price would be too high for such a cornucopia of malleable assets and mines, The Onion said in its satirical post regarding the sale. And yet, in a stroke of good fortune, a formidable special interest group has outwitted the hapless owner of InfoWars, a forgettable man with an already forgotten name, and forced him to sell it at a steep bargain, less than $1 trillion. That's the statement from The Onion on purchasing Alex Jones's InfoWars. On his live broadcast, Jones was angry and defiant, vowing to challenge the sale and auction process in court. He later announced his show was being shut down. Jones, who had told listeners for days that he had a new studio set up nearby, then resumed his broadcast from the new location, carrying them live on his account from X. This is a total attack on free speech. The deep state is completely out of control, Jones told his listeners. The deep state isn't totally out of control. You were sued for talking shit about dead kids. You lost. There's a penalty for losing. That penalty you can't pay. So you got to give up your assets. That's not a deep state conspiracy, Alex. But, you know, your audience is fucking stupid in the absolute worst. So tell them what you want to tell them. The Onion, based in Chicago, consulted on the bidding with some of the Sandy Hook families that sued Jones for defamation and emotional distress in lawsuits in Connecticut and Texas. Our clients knew that true accountability meant an end to InfoWars and an end to Jones's ability to spread lies, pain, and fear at that scale, said a lawyer for the families. All right, there you have it. That's pretty funny because he's a terrible person. He is objectively a terrible person. And The Onion is funny. The Onion's just some great comedy writing there at The Onion. All right, hey, how about this? Zuckerberg singing now. Yeah, I'm not kidding, Mark Zuckerberg. So actually, it's kind of a sweet story. I don't want to misrepresent this. So this has gotten out. I think this is what you can do when you're a billionaire. Okay, so Mark Zuckerberg met his girlfriend or his wife, met his longtime wife at a party. And when they met, the song that was playing was T-Pain, Get Low, right? Get Low. Classic song. And so every year on their anniversary, apparently Mark Zuckerberg somehow works in that song. Like if they rent out a restaurant, because he's a billionaire now. He rents out a restaurant, you know, they have an orchestra playing Get Low and they walk it or whatever. So this year he did something a little bit different, and he did something that only a billionaire can do, and that is he went and got T-Pain and said, all right, let's re-record the song, but let's let me sing it, and you will accompany me. So Mark Zuckerberg, for this, I don't know what anniversary this is, Mark Zuckerberg, he got T-Pain involved, and they re-recorded Get Low, it's here. I'll pull it up for you. You'll hear it. You want to hear Mark Zuckerberg sing Get Low? Of course you do. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, no, I want to hear the full track. Listen to the full track in millions on Spotify. Do I need to go to Spotify? I don't want to go to Spotify. Hold on. All right, maybe I will. Nope. For crying out loud. All right, we'll do it this way. That's fine. We can do it this way. So this is Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, of course. This is his anniversary gift to his lady friend. Let's see. I don't want to put Zuckerberg. I'm hoping I can just put Get Low. Is this it? Is this going to be it? Hold on. Trust me, it's worth it. There you go. Okay. All right, here you go. All right, so if you want to preserve the existing version of Little John's Get Low in your brain, maybe don't listen to this cover that T-Pain made. He was contacted by Mark Zuckerberg. Did T-Pain produce it originally or something? Why is he even involved? I don't know. Their version transforms the Get Low. I got down to all my school. Blah, blah, blah. Trust me, I maybe. All right, anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's just somebody, wreaking havoc on. Let me know in the chat room if you can hear this, okay? Because I'm not sure if this is going to work. I hope it does. We're going to do this a little differently. So this is, once again, Mark Zuckerberg sings with T-Pain.
Welcome to another episode of Culture Shift, where we dive into the fascinating intersection. So here's the Scylla Chan. They took an unusual sonic experience, almost reminiscent of a parody.
Can you hear this? Let me know in the chat room if you can hear this. Just say yes or no.
369, damn, you're fine. Hoping you can sock it to me, baby, one more time. Get low, get low.
Okay, that's Mark Zuckerberg. just so we're aware, he's doing jujitsu. He's singing now with auto-tune. That's Mark Zuckerberg.
Get low, 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 get low. From the windows to the walls, till sweat drops down my balls, till all these bitches crawl. Oh, skeet, skeet, motherfucker. Oh, skeet, skeet, goddamn. Oh, skeet, skeet, motherfucker. Oh, skeet, skeet, goddamn. Shorty crumb, so fresh, so clean. Can't you fuck that question's been harassing me in the mind? This girl is so fine. I done come to this club about 11 times. Can I play with your panty line? Club owner said I need to calm down. Security guard is...
Okay, I think that's enough of that. I think it's fine. I think if you're a billionaire, you can get away with that. If you're interested in hearing the entire version of the song, you can just simply find Z, as in like A through Z, Z-Pain, Zuckerberg, and T-Pain. They're called Z-Pain, their version of Get Low, if you're so inclined. Enjoy. Hey, man, it's fun to be a billionaire. Can I tell you, you can do that shit. It's fun to be a billionaire. You know what even makes it better? Like, we're all like, what a dork. Here's what makes it great. He don't give a fuck. You think he cares what me and Byron think of him? Mark Zuckerberg, man. What a dork. That kind of status, that kind of just existential agency. He's in no shame, doesn't need shame. He's Zuckerberg. Skeet. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, so a major insurance scam has been uncovered in the state of California. This is a good one for any of you little con men out there thinking of ways to maybe suck it to your insurance company. So I love this. Here's the scam. A couple in California have been arrested and charged with multiple counts of insurance fraud after having numerous of their exotic and very expensive vehicles. They all have Rolls Royces and Ferraris and all this kind of stuff. So six times this has happened. They've laid these claims. And it's weird. I mean, if it were to happen once and you had to call your insurance and say, hey, guess what happened with the Rolls Royce, right? I mean, that would be crazy to have to explain this. But they did it six times. And that's kind of why they kind of got in trouble. So here's what they would do. They would call. They go, hey, guess what happened with the Rolls Royce? And the insurance people would be like, did a grizzly bear get inside the Rolls Royce again? And they're like, yep, grizzly bear got in the Rolls Royce. Oh, gutted it. Just complete. Six times. Six times. These people made insurance claims on 6 vehicles that they claimed had been destroyed from the inside by grizzly bears who somehow got inside these luxury vehicles. Oh, and I know that sounds crazy, but guess what? They had video. They had, of course, Ring doorbell footage, ring door or whatever. I don't know, some kind of security cam, probably Ring doorbell. They had footage of the bear getting. Oh, wouldn't you know it? The Rolls Royce is a convertible. Wouldn't you know it? The bear can just climb on the back and start ripping stuff off. You see it plain as day. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Look at now the bear's in the Ferrari. How'd the bear get in the Ferrari? We're not sure. Guess we left the window down, crawled right in. Look at that. So they had video, and, you know, the insurance company kept paying. And then around like the 5th or 6th time, the insurance company's like, we're going to need to take a closer look at what these people are doing. How is this? So they looked at the video, and one of the people, after paying 6 times, someone at the insurance company went, all right, we're going to bring in a bear expert, because we can't be paying, you know, $50,000 a pop for torn up Rolls Royce interiors. So they call in like a bear expert, and the bear expert comes in, and they sit him down there at the insurance executive's office. And the zoo guy, the bear expert's looking at this, and he's like, yeah, that's not a bear. And they're like, what? He's like, yeah, that's not a bear. That's quite obviously a human being in a very cheaply made bear suit. And so the insurance company decided these people were dressing up like a bear for security cam footage, and then going inside cars and pretending like they're tearing the car apart. And then the insurance company, who didn't know what they were looking at, they're like, yeah, that looks like something. But then a normal like guy who knows what a bear is walks in, he's like, it's not a bear. That's not how a bear, that's obviously a person. So the insurance company goes and they, you know, get, I guess, an indictment or whatever, or a warrant. They're like, hey, here's what's going on. So the police get a warrant because they think that there's probably a bear costume inside that house. And of course, there was. There were 4 bear costumes. It's awesome. Humans are fun, man. Humans, those people, they put them in jail. Cool your jets, as my friend's dad used to say. Cool your jets, put them in jail for 2-3 years, whatever. Funny, I applaud them. Very funny. I mean, like, cool scam. If you got to do it, it's a cool scam. Who got hurt? Nobody got hurt. Least of all, no animals were hurt, which is really nice. Nobody got hurt. Insurance companies, oh, fuck you. Well, insurance companies got hurt, and that's why my taxes go up. Shut up, you idiot. Nobody seems to give a shit when these guys... Bear insurance scam. There you go. California. Sexiest man alive. We got a new sexiest man alive, everybody. Sexiest man alive. John Krasinski. That's right. Jim from The Office. Remember yesterday I was distracted because they were doing a story on NBC News, and I'm like, I don't know why they're all going crazy over John Krasinski. Now I do. John Krasinski is the sexiest man alive for 2024. Or maybe 2025. I don't know. Wouldn't they? If he was going to be, is he named for 2024 or 2025? Because seriously, if I was named the sexiest man of the year in 2024 and they gave it to me in mid-November of 2024 and I didn't have like 12 months to like work that shit in bars, I'd be upset. Well, John Krasinski, it's all he could do. I think it's for 2024. I think that's seriously what it is. Maybe 2025. I don't know. John Krasinski is not the sexiest man in the world. Not even close. You know how I know this? I know this because I'm a heterosexual dude. I'm not gay. And I've got a list of like, if I were gay. And John Krasinski is not on that list. Jason Momoa is the sexiest man alive. I'm a straight guy. And I can look at Jason Momoa. And like, if I was like with a wife or something and she's like, Jason Momoa wants to have sex with me, I'd be like, baby, I love you. Go for it. Go. Get in there. Get in there, kid. Tell me all about it. I'm glad one of us can have something nice. That's what I would be. Jason Momoa. It ain't John Krasinski. John Krasinski's not even that good looking. John Krasinski is not a handsome man. You know what John Krasinski is? He's handsome for Ohio. He's Ohio handsome. That's what he is. He's not Hollywood handsome. He ain't Brad Pitt. He ain't George Clooney. He ain't Hollywood. He's got kind of a dopey face, but whatever. We're led to believe that he is Hollywood's most sexiest dude ever. By the way, you ever wonder, like, this list, this Hollywood sexiest man list, you want to see these? Check these out. Hold on. Let's go through the list. And how come we don't have a Hollywood sexiest woman? Because that would be just buying into the patriarchy and exploiting a woman for nothing more than her sexual looks. Yeah, that is what it would be. Kind of exactly like what you're doing with guys. Why is it okay to do it with guys? Why is it okay for you to pander to the puerile wants of women by objectifying and exploiting male beauty, but we can't do the same on the other side? Do you see? Do you see? Most beautiful, most intriguing, sexiest man. All right, let's see here. Who was the first sexiest man alive? Apparently, they don't do a woman. They don't do sexiest woman. Apparently, Esquire did a I looked it up today. Esquire did a sexiest woman once, like in 2014. I think it was Kate Upton. I mean, I concur. Good pick for 2014. Could have been Kate Upton. Could have been a Brooklyn Decker. 2014. Could have been a Kim Kardashian. Could have been any number from 2014. All right, let's go. The first sexiest man alive. The origin on the sexiest man alive. Of course, yesterday, John Krasinski was named the sexiest man alive 2024. Sexiest man alive was an accident. It became a benchmark for People magazine, one of their biggest sellers, their biggest seller of the year, which is why they did it every year. But it was an accident. No, they didn't say, hey, I got an idea. Let's do an issue with just like, and we'll name one guy the sexiest man. That's not how it happened. Here's how it happened. Back in February of 1985, People magazine was doing an article on Mel Gibson. And they were in an editorial meeting and they were trying to figure out a good headline. They were putting Mel Gibson on the cover and what would a good headline for it be? And somebody said, oh my God, he is the sexiest man alive. And that became, coincidentally, the headline. It's a big selling issue. A couple of months go by and somebody goes, hey, you know what? We should do that again. Mel Gibson was the sexiest man alive. Let's do that again. And that's how it turned into a thing. But it was an accident. It was just supposed to be a one-off headline for a Mel Gibson article. Mel Gibson was 1985. Mark Harmon was 1986. Harry Hamlin was 1987. John F. Kennedy, JFK Jr. was 88. Sean Connery was 89. Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Nick Nolte, Richard Gere. For some reason in 93, I know what this is. This had to have been in conjunction with that movie that they made. People magazine doesn't hold near and dear to their principles. They had a new movie. There was a new movie coming out, so they probably spent a lot of money and people went, okay, we'll do sexiest couple in order to help you sell this stupid movie. Richard Gere and Cindy Crawford were named sexiest couple in 1993. Were they a couple or were they in a movie together? I don't know. I don't remember. On this day in 1994, it was awarded on this day. It must be this time. Okay, that's what it is. It is. It's this awarded this time of year. So it was on this day. 94, sexiest man, Keanu Reeves. 95, Brad Pitt. 96, Denzel Washington. 97, Clooney. 98, Ford. 99, Gere again. 2000, Pitt again. 2001, Brosnan. 2002, Affleck. 2003, Depp. 2004, Jude Law. 2005, all right. 2006, Clooney again. 2007, Damon. Damon is not. Damon's, again, Damon as a dude, Damon's like a Pennsylvania 8. Okay, that's what Matt Damon is. He is not the sexiest man alive. Ben Affleck, put Ben Affleck next to Matt Damon. Come on. One is the hot guy and one is the friend who drove. Okay? But whatever. They gave it to Affleck, so now I guess they got to give it to Damon. Hugh Jackman in 08. Johnny Depp in 09. Ryan Reynolds in 10. That's a good one. Ryan Reynolds is a good one. When I was talking about Jason Momoa, Ryan Reynolds too. I'm Ryan Reynolds. Like if I'm Jason Momoa sexual, what would I be Ryan Reynolds? I'm buying Reynolds. I don't know what anyway. Ryan Reynolds, I like him. Bradley Cooper was People's Sexiest Man in 11. Channing Tatum in 12. Adam Levine in 13. Get the fuck Adam Levine. 2014 was Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, that's a real one. Look at me. Are you starting to see, like, what's this peccadillo I got going on? Where, like, obviously the men that I think are, like, hot men, they're all, like, these big dominant dudes who would, like, probably kick the shit out of me. Like Jason Momoa. Like, who's the if I, like, hook up, I'm not, because I'm not gay, but if I were to hook up with Jason Momoa, who's the bitch, right? Okay, so if I hook up with, like, you know, Chris Hemsworth or any of the Hemsworths, because they're all on the table, am I right, ladies? Who's the bitch? Me, I'm the bitch. Like, you know, I'm not trying to hook up with Michael Cera, right? I'm not, like, that's not one of my, so, I don't know. Let's see here. David Beckham was People's Sexiest Man in 2015. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in 2016. Blake Shelton in 2017. Idris Elba in 2018. John Legend in 2019. Michael B. Jordan in 2020. Paul Rudd in 2021. Chris Evans in 2022. Patrick Dempsey. Oh, they're on a, they are just, look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. People Magazine gave it to three brothers in a row. Three like fairly, like, you got Idris Elba. He was the sexiest man in 2018. That dude could wreck shop if you needed to. You know what I mean? Like, Idris Elba will fuck you up. Idris Elba is a serious, very masculine dude. Then you got John Legend. John Legend in 2019. John Legend is a smooth, sophisticated cat. That's a man of a different kind, but that's definitely a man. Then you got Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, another one of these smooth, sophisticated, got the Denzel thing going on. Very cool. They give you three brothers in a row who are unimpeachably masculine, and then people just gave us, like, three puss boys. Three, then followed by three white puss boys. So they went from Idris Elba, John Legend, and Michael B. Jordan to Paul Rudd, Chris Evans, and Patrick Dempsey. And now John Krasinski, who I guess is kind of a puss boy too. Anyway, there you go. We spent way too much time on People Magazine's Sexiest Man. John Krasinski named Sexiest Man for 2024. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, this is pretty badass. I dig this. I dig this. You know what, guys? Here, we got to do this real quick. I got to step away. I actually have to go to the bathroom really bad, and I've been kind of holding it in. But we got enough stories here that we can occupy another good, I don't know, half hour or so, maybe 40 minutes. We're going to keep going. I just need to quickly run to the bathroom. So let me do that, if y'all cool with it. And then, so I'll be right back. I know I talk about stream of consciousness, no breaks, no stops. It's just me endlessly speaking until the day's topics are done. But I got to take a pee. So, you know, there we go. Be right back. Hold on, folks. All right, I'm back. Not gonna get a bottle or something, you babies. Please. You guys get nonstop just brap for like 2.5, 3 hours sometimes. If this was any other form of content, you'd be told to, we're going to take a break now and please subscribe to, and then there'd be like some commercial. Or if it was the radio, there'd be like a long, stop it. I just had to go to the bathroom and now I'm back. All right, let's get into it. Where were we? What was the next thing we were going to talk about here? We did Sexiest Man Alive. Oh, I want to talk about my girl, Sydney Sweeney. Woo! I love Sydney Sweeney. I love her. I just think that she is like, you go girl. I just think that she is like so cool, so empowered, so independent minded, so complete. First of all, she's hot as hell. And before you judge me, I'm talking about box office, marketing, branding. She is the female name right now in Hollywood. She is about as big as they come. She is the woman of the moment. She is the it girl, if you will. Sydney Sweeney. One of the things about Sydney Sweeney that maybe you notice first and foremost is that she's a smoke show. She is an absolute smoke show. She's got giant boobs. They perfect on her body. She's got a big, pretty face. She's just sexy. It's crazy sex symbol with the younger generation. And if I'm being honest, we older folk, we don't have much of an issue with her either. We're okay. But here's the thing about Sydney Sweeney. She has come under fire pretty consistently over the past few years. And look, let's be honest, she hasn't been famous for all of that long. She started out on the, I don't know if this is even where she started out. No, Pugs, I know way more about her than you. Whatever. She broke through on Euphoria, the HBO Max series. Very controversial, very provocative, very strong female audience. I've never seen it. Don't care. Her and Zendaya were the two breakout people from that show, I guess. Sydney Sweeney has gone on to do a whole bunch of movies, and she just pops off the screen. People love her. She's just great and everything that she does. I don't know if she's a great actress. I think she's a pretty good actress. I've seen her, be believable in the stuff that I've seen her in. But whatever. She's a kid. So for crying out loud, and by kid, I mean got a long way to go in her career. Okay, Meryl Streep's 70-something years old. Helen Mirren is right. So Sydney Sweeney's got a long time to go. I think I was talking the other day about how when we look at my personal history of like hot girl celebrity crushes, right? We went through the whole list, Demi Moore, Winona Ryder, all that kind of stuff. For a lot of guys, young guys, not my son, but Sydney Sweeney is one of those type of people. She's foundational, and therefore she's not going away. She's still going away. 40, 50 years from now, there's still going to be dudes going, man, you remember how hot Sydney Sweeney was in 2024? I mean, that's you make your mark on the popular culture. She's done that. Farrah Fawcett, Suzanne Summers, Pamela Anderson, Carmen Electra. There's always... But I think that she is a little bit more than most of those. Or the Farrah was more than most of those too, because Farrah could act as well. I think maybe Sydney Sweeney's more of a legitimate actress. Some of those other people that I mentioned were just like TV hot chicks. Pamela Anderson, that kind of thing. Sydney Sweeney has been criticized for the last couple of years about the way she presents herself. Sydney Sweeney is, oh my God, she's a huge target of the radical feminist left. They don't like her. They don't like her tight shirts. They don't like her showing off her boobs. They don't like her shaking it. They don't like her objectifying herself. People will tell you, Sydney, you're so talented. Why do you need to relay? These have been the criticisms of her recently. She's giving an article talking today to here. Well, let's see what exactly who's she talking to about this stuff. Point is this: Entertainment Weekly. Point is this: Sydney Sweeney's like, yeah, I'm hot, and it drives men nuts, and I love it. Deal with it. That's her attitude. Do you know how awesome that attitude is? I love that attitude. Look, women know that men at a certain level are going to become distracted by our hormones. This isn't breaking news. And then, you'll have people who are opposed to that kind of thing. They'll argue. They'll say, well, that's not how it should be. No, it's probably not how it should be. It's not the most effective way for men and women to coexist in this world, but it's how it is. Men can be bedazzled by a woman, her sexuality, her wiles, the way she seduces him. It's not new. And Sydney Sweeney is a modern, independent, free-thinking woman who's like, fuck yeah, I don't apologize for that shit at all. You should see, you give me in the room with the most powerful man in the universe. I'll make him say and do things you'd never. That is how she understands her feminine power. Feminine power, feminine empowerment doesn't have to come from a bad haircut and a wide leather wristband. Right? It doesn't have to come from a conversation you have with somebody at a Melissa Etheridge concert. Female empowerment comes from the female in question. And I applaud Sydney Sweeney for being like, hey, you like my tits? There you go. Give me some money. It's not that vulgar. But it's that kind of thing. It's that kind of transaction. She knows that she can get a whole lot of what she wants. She's 24. She probably also knows that she won't be able to do that at 44, and that it gets kind of sad. And then it gets even worse when you look at Madonna at 66 going, am I still sexy, Daddy? Am I still? No! Madonna, you are not sexy. Sydney Sweeney calls out fake female empowerment in Hollywood. She says none of it is actually happening. Sydney Sweeney has called out fake female empowerment in the American film industry. The 27-year-old star of Euphoria and Anyone But You has criticized the hypocrisy of people who publicly espousing feminist values while privately trying to bash and discredit younger, more hardworking peers. Basically, what she's saying is that a lot of this seems to be coming, a lot of this bashing of me and other women of my generation who maybe don't carry themselves in Hollywood the way that the older generation did. Maybe it's just that she's saying it's those people. It's the Jen Aniston, era of Hollywood, who is now looking at the new hot young things. And Sydney Sweeney is saying they're being dicks because they were afraid to show it and shake it and use it, and we aren't. And we are getting way further than they ever did. And they're jealous because they can no longer shake it and use it as effectively as my generation can. The de-weaponization of sexualizing hot chicks has begun. Let sexy girls be sexy. Shouldn't be made to feel bad about it. All right. Okay. Well, I'll let you know. What is this? 4 people arrested after. Oh, it's the bear costume. It's the bear costume story. 4 people arrested after using bear costume to damage cars. How did they get video? They got video of the bear costume. All right. By the end of the show today, we're going to find this video. We're going to watch the video of the people in California who was using a bear costume and then calling their insurance company and saying a bear. It looks like a bear. I'm looking at like the Ring doorbell video. It kind of looks like a bear. I can see why it took them like 6 times for the insurance company to go, we need to get a bear expert in here. Anyway, there you go. Sydney Sweeney. She's hot. She's young. She's sexy. She knows. She owns it. She's like, you're going to criticize me for it? Please. I'm going to use it. And you know what? Good for her. Good for her. You know who can go kick rocks? Eva Longoria. I don't like Eva Longoria. I've never liked Eva Longoria. I mean, I take that back. I like her for obvious reasons. She's hot. Oh my God, I would make out with her so hard. Eva Longoria. She's leaving the country. She's out. She's like, I can't be here because of Trump. You're married to a Spanish billionaire, you bitch. I'm leaving the country because of Trump. Oh, you're so admirable. Yeah, you're not renting an apartment in Madrid. You're moving in with your billionaire husband in Spain, where you spend most of your time anyway, Eva Longoria. She's still hot, though. She's like old, too. She's like old. She's like my age, and she's still hot. But she wants you to know she's leaving because of Trump. No, you're leaving because your husband is a billionaire from Spain, and he lives there. And I don't know, Barcelona, or wherever the hell it is that he lives, is nicer than freaking San Antonio. Is that where Eva Longoria lives? I think that's where she's from. Remember, she used to be with Tony Parker, and then Tony Parker's like, oh, I should not have ever married an actress. They're crazy. And everybody's like, yeah, actresses are fucking crazy, Tony Parker. You got to be, if you want to be married to an actress, you got to be a billionaire. You got to be a billionaire. You didn't give a shit. You just got to be like, you got to be able to like just go off and have your own world. You got to be so totally self-insulated by power and money that being married to an actress wouldn't bother you, because you could always just go out and get another one. Speaking of San Antonio, let's offer some best well wishes to old Pop, Greg Popovich, San Antonio Spurs, longtime head coach, one of the greatest basketball coaches in NBA history. Health scare for old Pop. He had himself a stroke there. Greg Popovich suffers stroke with San Antonio Spurs. Coach ruled out indefinitely. Fans wish NBA icon a full recovery. It says here, Pop, 75. He's going to be taking an indefinite period of absence as he recovers from the health scare. The Spurs added that the team expects the iconic head coach, you're using iconic way too much, to make a full recovery. It happened while he was at the NBA team's Frost Bank Center in San Antonio on November the 2nd. How long ago is this start? What? I don't care. Pop's obviously going to be fine. It was 12 days ago. There's been no news stories. He's fine. There you go, Pop. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, we got a death. Ted Olson died. Ted Olson died. Ted Olson, 82 years old. Why do we know Ted Olson? Ted Olson was George W. Bush's Solicitor General. Solicitor General is now a position that we hear about. I had never heard of the position of Solicitor General until Ted Olson. The reason I had heard of Solicitor General is because on 9/11, his wife was killed. His wife was one of the first people that they announced that had been killed in the plane that crashed into the Pentagon, Barbara Olson. And I remember they're saying, we're now receiving word that the wife of United States Solicitor General Ted Olson, Barbara Olson, has been. And so that's how I always sort of remembered, and now I hear Solicitor General all the time. And I'm like, I guess it's an important job. It's like it's not the Attorney General. What's the difference between the Attorney General and Solicitor General? Got to be honest. Oh, I do know. Thank you. I believe the Solicitor General's job is dealing with the Supreme Court. There you go. Anyway, Ted Olson died. He was 82 years old. Proud civil servant. Worked across bipartisan administrations for many, many years. Suffered a deep and mortal wound on the morning of September 11th. We all went through that, but some of us actually lost people and changed our lives forever. So he went through that. So best thoughts for Ted Olson. Ted Olson, former United States Solicitor General. I think that's what the Solicitor General does. Pretty sure that you're the lawyer between the White House or the government. You're the lawyer for the government. You represent the government in cases at the Supreme Court. I don't know. I need to be smarter. I know that. I need to be way smarter. Okay. That's going to do it. We're going to end the show here. We're going to talk about the movie that I saw yesterday. So last night I told you I was looking for, hold on. Is this going to be it? Do we have it? Yeah, it looks like this is it. All right. Okay. So last night I told you I was looking for something to watch, and I was hoping that I could find the Christopher Reeve documentary, the Superman documentary about Christopher Reeve and his life. I want to watch that with my kid this weekend. So Ed, get on it if you're listening. See if you can find it anywhere for me. Direct me in the proper direction. So I went to a place where I normally go to watch these kinds of things, and I didn't find Superman, and I was like, oh, I'm upset. I was hoping it would be up here. It wasn't, but what was Jason Reitman's Saturday Night film. Jason Reitman is the son of Ivan Reitman. Jason Reitman is a fairly accomplished director in his own right at this stage. This is interesting subject matter for him to take on, as he was raised around these people. His father was Ivan Reitman. Ivan Reitman, one of Ivan Reitman's closest friends, was Lorne Michaels. And all of these people, they all had cross paths, whether it was Ghostbusters and Saturday Night Live and all that. So it would be interesting that a filmmaker who I already trust and who I already greatly admire, from a legacy that I'm already wildly impressed by, that of Ivan Reitman into Jason Reitman. I was very excited at the idea of this film. What does this film promise to do? Well, it's supposed to be a real-time 90-minute experience of what it's like behind the scenes at Saturday Night Live 90 minutes before showtime. So again, as I said in the beginning of the show, this movie ends with live from New York. It's all about the 90 minutes before, and the movie is 90 minutes long. So it's like everything is done in real time. So that's interesting. And as I said, I consider myself to be a bit of a Saturday Night Live historian. I've seen every episode. I love the fun facts. I love all of that stuff, the trivia. So I was very excited about seeing this film. And again, the pedigree of the creator. And I also really enjoyed the idea that there were absolutely no name stars playing any of the not ready for primetime players. The not ready for primetime players are the original cast of Saturday Night Live. Your Belushis, your Chases, your Radners, your Curtins, your Morris. Lorraine Newman. I'm trying to think, who else am I missing here? Anyway, they've cast no-name actors, so you wouldn't be distracted by somebody you know from somewhere else playing, a guy you know from Ubiquity. Chevy Chase. He didn't remind me of Chevy Chase. No, so it was smart. They got nothing but no-name actors to play all of these very well-defined characters. Lorne Michaels is the centerpiece. And yeah, okay, so that's it. So I'm going to show you the trailer. I watched the movie last night. I was very pleased when I found it. I like I said, I would have rather seen that movie than the Superman movie. I just didn't know that the Saturday Night Live movie was available yet. But I've always been very interested in this kind of stuff. So let's watch it. Here you go. This is the trailer. I think we've probably watched it before, months ago when it was first released. But here's the trailer. You can check it out this weekend. I watched it last night. I'll give you my full review after we watch the trailer. Here we go. This is the new Saturday Night Live movie.
Free comedy show, plenty of seats, plenty of tickets left, guys. Free show. Fuck's sake.
So, big night.
Look, my name is Lorne Michaels. I'm the producer of Saturday Night.
The whole night?
Yeah, the whole night.
Chevy Chase, Gilda Radner, Dan Iyek, how the fuck do you pronounce this?
Aykroyd.
I was thinking, why don't we punt? We should run the dress rehearsal and claw back a win next Saturday.
We can't, Dick. It's a live show.
We're just not ready.
Doesn't matter that we're ready. It matters that it's 11:30. That's when we go on.
Lauren, all I'm trying to do is give you advice. It's in everyone's best interest, mainly yours.
Sorry, was that a threat?
Look around, Lauren. You haven't locked the script. Your crew is in open rebellion.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
I definitely fuck you.
The writers on the 17th floor tied a belt around Big Bird's neck and hung him from my dressing room door.
So tell me how you fit into this ensemble.
Oh, is this an ensemble?
NBC makes more money playing reruns of The Tonight Show.
NBC is lucky to have something as relevant as this show.
Lauren, they don't even want it.
That's logical, Dick. That's why they're paying us all to be here.
I mean, Lauren, 90 minutes of live television by a group of 20-year-olds who've never made anything. Do you ever stop and wonder why they said yes A counterculture show starring total unknowns with zero narrative and even less structure. They want you to fail.
We just have to make it to air.
Am I still in the show?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, tripped over my penis.
All right. There you have it. That was the trailer for Saturday Night, Jason Reitman's tribute to the very first show of Saturday Night Live, 1975. All right, so I watched it. I watched it last night. Adam Rain in the chat room, he brings up a very good point. I mentioned that there are no names in the majority of the cast roles, the most recognizable roles, the roles that we would be most interested in. If you are a longtime Saturday, like how is this guy going to play Belushi? How is this guy going to play? So those are no names, so as not to be distracted. Very good performances. I'm going to say across the board, everybody was fine. Really, the story is about the relationship between two very real people, Lorne Michaels and Dick Ebersol. Lorne Michaels is, of course, the creator of Saturday Night Live. Dick Ebersol was his immediate boss. They were friends. They were very good friends. They were contemporaries, guys around the same age. Dick Ebersol is the reason Lorne Michaels got the show. Dick Ebersol went to bat for him with the NBC executives and was very much his own neck. Dick Ebersol is a young executive. His own neck was on the line here. So you see a lot of the scenes there in stairways between a young Lorne Michaels and Dick Ebersol where they're like, at each other's throats. But they are really very close friends, and it's part of the drama. As I said, the movie takes place in real time, 90 minutes before the start of the very first episode of Saturday Night Live. Nobody thought they would make it to air. They had a Johnny Carson episode queued up and ready to go. Johnny Carson was in a contract negotiation with NBC, and the whole reason that they were given this slot on Saturday night, because before this, Johnny Carson aired a rerun on Saturday night. Saturday night was Johnny Carson's night, but because he was in a contract renegotiation, NBC decided to play a little bit of hardball, and so they opened up the Saturday night time slot, and they developed this show. Johnny Carson thought the show is just a placeholder until he could get his contract deal. He had no idea. In fact, there's a great scene where about a half hour before they hit the air, Lorne Michaels is called into the control room because there's a phone call from Burbank. The phone call from Burbank means one thing, Johnny Carson. And Lorne Michaels, in a half hour before the first Saturday Night Live goes on the air, picks up the phone and has a conversation with Johnny Carson. And I'll tell you, the guy doing the Johnny Carson voice on the other end of the phone, pretty good. Pretty good. And I'll also tell you, as a historian of Saturday Night Live, this is real. This phone call took place. It's been documented by a number of people. Lorne Michaels himself talks about it. So they have the depiction of Johnny Carson calling Lorne Michaels a half hour before Saturday Night Live goes on the air for the first time and giving him his creator-to-creator pep talk. Wasn't that? Wasn't that? I don't know if you've read or know much about Johnny Carson, but Johnny Carson was an asshole. Johnny Carson was a bad, mean drunk. He was vindictive. He didn't like people. And it's a pretty powerful scene where a young Lorne Michaels is on the phone in his office talking to Johnny Carson. And Johnny Carson is basically telling him, I'm going to destroy you. You're a placeholder. You don't belong here. You're going to fail. Everyone's going to laugh at you. I mean, it was Johnny Carson in a way. Milton Berle, too. Milton Berle was on this. Milton Berle. J.K. Simons plays Milton Berle. And he's all the stories you hear about Milton Berle being an asshole of the highest order certainly played out. Milton Berle walking around backstage at the first Saturday Night Live acting like he's goddamn Elvis Presley, and Chevy Chase being like, you're a lame old man. And it's just turning into a whole. That also is true. Milton Berle. I wanted more from Belushi. The show wasn't about the cast, right? So if you wanted more about the relationship between Chevy Chase and John Belushi, you don't get any of that. The stars, the John Belushi, the Dan Aykroyds, and all that, those people are background. This is about Lorne Michaels and what he was doing the 90 minutes before airtime of the very first Saturday Night Live. It is not about what was going on in John Belushi's life. What was going on? I mean, we know John Belushi, his character in the movie is his main story arc in the movie is that a half hour before showtime, John Belushi hasn't signed his contract yet, and now he's missing. And so part of what Lorne Michaels is trying to do is he's trying to find John Belushi in 30 Rockefeller Center to sign his contract so that he can go on live TV. But that's it. That's all we see of Belushi. Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, the guy who plays Dan Aykroyd is pretty good. I am so interested, and I have so much information and backstory and context for all of these people and just the history of Saturday Night Live in general that I did not love this movie. I didn't love it. I didn't love this movie because I felt that it went too fast. I mean, I get it. It's 90 minutes. It's real time. It was insane. Nothing like this had ever been done on television before. Certainly not in late night, and certainly not with a bunch of hippies who were so fucked up on drugs on live TV. They were putting a bunch of counterculture drug addicts, comedians, shock comedians. They were putting these people on live TV. I mean, it never been done before. And so they're trying to portray that. Reitman is trying to portray that sense of just heart pounding. Gung, 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 gung. I mean, it's just you're on the edge. It's not a comfortable movie. You're not going to fall asleep watching it because it is all about how much time before air, how much time before air, people sweating, close-ups, heart pumping, all of that stuff. That's what you get. I didn't need that. I would have really liked a nice deep dive on what were the problems with the network. A major character in this is Willem Dafoe. He plays an NBC executive. He was not a supporter of the show. He had Johnny's back, and he did not want the show to be a success. I would like to have known more about that. I would like to have seen that story unfold, but we didn't get that because all we got was 90 minutes in real time. And then this happened, and then that happened, and then the lighting crane fell, and then the audience showed up, and then the audience didn't know when to laugh, and there was an argument with 10 minutes before showtime about whether or not Lorne Michaels wanted the applause sign. The whole cast didn't want the applause sign. NBC demanded an applause sign. It's interesting, but it left me, a big Saturday Night Live fan, wholly underwhelmed. And I was just like, well, that was too fast. It went by too fast, and they never really didn't tell a story. It did not tell a story so much as it depicted a situation. And the situation is what happens 90 minutes before Saturday Night Live goes on the air. And in this case, what happened 90 minutes before the very first Saturday Night Live went on the air. And it's interesting. I didn't love the movie. I recommend the movie, though. I do recommend it. If you're interested in pop culture, it's fun. It's fun, you know? I wanted a story, though. I wanted something that I was going to go, yeah, that's greatness. That's the way to pay tribute to a foundational element of American comedy of the past 50 years. A good film. And really, it was just a fun film. It was just fun. It's funny. Characters are good. If you love the show, it is definitely a love letter to the show. It was wild. I mean, there was so much wild stuff going on in the 1970s. I just don't, it's not a great, for a Saturday Night Live fan like myself, I don't feel like I know anything new. I don't feel like it was fun. It was voyeurism. Yeah, it was a depiction of a situation, whereas I wanted the story of, I wanted an origin story, and it wasn't so much an origin story. Like, I would have liked to have seen a movie about, that spanned the previous year. I would have liked to have seen Lorne Michaels having the idea. I would like to see Lorne Michaels, what he was doing when he had the idea, the pitches to the networks. I wanted to know more about why Johnny Carson was so against it. See, that stuff is interesting. And they chose to go a different way. But it's fun. I think you'll enjoy it. It just feels like an appetizer when I wanted a meal. All right, there you go. Adam says, did J.K. Simons whip out that huge dong? He sure did. And you don't really get a full-on Dirk Diggler Boogie Nights kind of thing where you can pause it and see it. But there is a scene where Milton Berle whips out his dick. Uncle Milty was very famous for the whole Louis C.K. thing. Just whenever he was trying to make a point, Milton Berle would unzip his fly and unfurl his prodigious man sword. Very large, Milton Berle. 12 inches, they say. 12 inches. A whole foot of Uncle Milty. And yes, there is a scene in this movie. Kaya Gerber. I don't know if you know who Kaya Gerber is. Kaya Gerber is Cindy Crawford's daughter. Kaya Gerber looks exactly like Cindy Crawford. She really does. She might even be better than Cindy Crawford. I don't know. Anyway, Kaya Gerber. Kaya Gerber plays Chevy Chase's girlfriend. And Chevy Chase is like, the cock of the walk. He's Mr. Big Shit. And it's the first night of Saturday Night Live. And he thinks this is it. He's about to be a superstar. And he's got his hot smoke show girlfriend, played by Kaya Gerber. And in all the madness of, the 90 minutes before the show, Chevy Chase is off doing a scene rehearsal somewhere, and his girlfriend is out walking around, and she encounters Milton Berle. And Chevy Chase is now looking for his girlfriend. He's like, where is she? Anybody seen her? Anybody seen my fiance? And then he goes behind some lights, and he sees his fiance sitting there in a corner pressed up against the wall. And it's J.K. Simons as Milton Berle. And he's like all over Chevy Chase's girlfriend. This culminates in if you watch the scene, it's Milton Berle's the asshole. Like, Milton Berle is obviously hitting on this guy's girlfriend. Chevy Chase walks up and he goes, hey, she's taken. And then Milton Berle turns to him and goes, by who? By you? You're a nothing. And Milton Berle lays into Chevy Chase in a way that, I don't know why Chevy Chase didn't cry. Milton Berle's like, they goddamn named a night of television after me. This entire network exists because of me. Who are you? Like, he's like just dressing down Chevy Chase. Wow, Milton Berle's got Chevy Chase's girlfriend. And he's like, yeah, baby. He's like, this is, who do you want to be with? And she's like with Milty. She's like totally like super hot. She's like, yeah, Chevy, with all due respect, you might be somebody someday, but this is goddamn Uncle Milty. This is Milton Berle. And then the scene, Milton Berle pushes her away. He turns to Chevy Chase. He opens up his fly and he pulls out his dick. And he just stands there and he goes, and you're not even a big swinging dick. And she giggles and it's like, oh my God, it's true. Milton Berle did do that. He just pulled his dick out to intimidate other men. It's crazy. It's fun. It's fun like that. All right, guys, that's going to do it. One more time, I'd like to encourage you, if you want to keep this kind of talk radio going, you can do that. You can be the big tipper of the day. We do accept tips in Venmo and in Cash App. Haven't been doing it a lot recently. That's because you guys came through big and got us across the finish line last month. But we got to start the process again. I'm just going to remind you, if you're so inclined, you want to support this kind of stuff, do me a solid, drop a little something in either the Venmo or the Cash App, and we do appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, kicking in the weekend, kicking off the weekend, kicking out the weekend, kicking over the weekend. No idea what any of that means. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, for more Rant. Your talk radio the way you normal people deserve, here on the RadioMisfits.com podcast platform every day, round about noon. Like, follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I am Pugs Moran. We are Radio Misfits, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery. We'll see you back here tomorrow, RadioMisfits.com.